They've always brought out the best in each other, and they've broken stereotype in the say that two big leading actors can't come together and bring out the best. Well, they broke that years ago, and they're doing it again. Talented duo, Ajay Devgn and Saif Ali Khan. You all started in '99 from that set till the Tanhaji set. Tell me what's changed in the two of you. What's changed drastically?
We've grown up.
We've grown up.
Responsibility.
Calmer.
Well, I think he's always been calm. I'm a bit calmer.
No.
Some things haven't changed. Some
Yeah,
things
lots of
have.
things
In a nutshell, I would say, you know, I see him carrying this film like a very concerned parent. I'd say like a mother, actually, more than a father. Really worried and dealing with every detail. Because if you don't watch it yourself, it can sometimes not go the way you want it to exactly. So I think he's little burdened with responsibility.
Apart from that, yeah, I mean, like I said, we've grown up, or we are behaving to be grown. So I really don't know.
A bit of pretending of
Pretending.
Yeah.
But tell me one thing that you feel like you've retained individually. Of course, you'll have to tell about Ajay and Ajay about Saif.
I think his confidence, generosity, and calm on set, and his, you know, it's just really nice to work with him, and you can be yourself with him.
Yeah.
And it's just easy.
What about his?
Same here, and I think he's always been honest. He says what he feels, and at least with me, it's never been that, you know, we both actually need to think before we speak, so we can say whatever we want to each other, and we know we're not going to be judged. So I mean, after Omkara, we were same in Omkara, and then after that we met after what, 10 years or whatever, and I think after the first 5 minutes again we were the same.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like, you know, that
The years
anything has changed.
No, I have a lot of warmth and happiness and good memories about Ajay. When I think about my film career, I can see the desert in Jaisalmer, nights,
40,
you know,
45 days, and we didn't get bored one day because we were just always together.
Yes, we were handcuffed in the
Yeah,
movie.
we were handcuffed, and apart from that also, I mean, off the set also,
we
because
spent
there was
a lot of
nothing
time.
to do, we were spending a lot of time together, eating, drinking, doing stuff.
Yeah. So I'll never forget that. It was great.
And that pretty much reflects even today. There is certain, that rapport always helps on the set, doesn't it? When you're doing a film like this, that comfort.
I don't know actually. In fact, I find it can even disturb me, because if I like the person and I like the environment,
You're distracted.
You get a little distracted. I mean, you know, if you're just doing your own thing rather selfishly, then it's easier for me to perform, honestly.
You agree?
Well,
No, actually, if I have a lot of fun on set, I'm happy being there and I work better.
Yeah. So, I interviewed Kajol yesterday. She told me about how, you know, you went to her with the script and you said that, you know, if you do it, I'll further develop the character of Savitri Bai. And of course, she said in her usual candor that, you know, I know you're offering me the film, you want me to do it for free and save money and all of that.
She's not doing it for free, I'm bad.
And what she also pointed out, that it's sort of interesting when you're on set and you're working with you, is because you give her inputs from both the actor and director's side.
No, it's just that because we are so comfortable with each other, I can tell her, which I can't tell every other actor, but I can tell her, okay, I feel it should be like this, you see, because she's a fabulous actress. So sometimes when you worked on a scene and you've, you know, before you shoot, and because you were involved from the beginning of scripting, so you have some things in mind, you know, this is how the scene is written because this is how the performance would be. So you just let that out and then let them, you know, just grasp it and do it their way.
So not much. You don't feel like it, do you hold that back when it comes to other actors and it's your own film?
It depends. It depends. I mean, sometimes I can tell him something.
Depends how bad it's happening in front of you.
It's not about good or bad. It's about comfort zone. I mean, I know so many times if I told him something, he wouldn't mind it. He's not that he's trying to act smart or anything. He wouldn't think like this. But there are actors, I mean, you are not comfortable with. You can't go and tell them, okay, you should perform like this or things like this. So it depends who you're talking to. And
the historical drama genre itself is so massive and elaborate with all the clothes and everything else besides the drama in it. And, you know, like I was talking to Kajol and she said like she just couldn't wait to get out of them after a point. How do you deal with that aspect of it? It's interesting
No,
because
that's
you've
for the
come-
women because they take 4 hours to get into it, so they can't wait to get out of it. We are fine.
You're fine. What about you?
Yeah, and I mean, this was, I mean, there's some parts and some roles maybe which are very heavy with wigs and beards and this, that. So I had nothing really fake on, you know, and all the stuff was quite light. It was quite easy that way. The whole shooting environment, in fact, was not a painful film. Sorry to say, we should say, oh, it was very difficult, it was impossible.
No.
But actually it was really, really comfortable in that sense, you know. The trick with those things is to not let the costume wear you sometimes. If you're walking around like covered, you still have to perform it like you wear it every day, you know.
Both of you also are producers. What are things that you notice are for the good and what are things that you think should change for the better?
No, things are changing for the better. Except for I feel that, I mean, for where quality of work is concerned, lots of things have changed. We've changed. But also with that, I think the mindset of people have changed also. I think not people who are working since quite some time like us, they mustn't have changed, but the newer generation has come in with a different mindset, which is very good, which is very, very professional. Like I said, they're very corporate. So I sometimes personally feel that sometimes, you know, that warmth goes missing.
Bit of soul is lost.
Yeah, soul is lost. I mean, what we could do and what the way we could behave with each other or be on the set, you're not exactly the same now.
What about you?
Films also reflect what's happening
Yeah.
generally in the country in a way, you know.
Exactly, that's what you make always.
Yeah, so we represent that. So in some things are very good, you know, and some things maybe we lost something. We have to keep our eye on it. So,
So it's okay.
generally, I think it's a really good time for actors. I mean, at both our stages, we're being offered exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Business-wise, it's very good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think that just that warmth is gone.
Is missing. We had a long discussion last time about how when we look at War and you see it did so well and you had two big actors in it, and Ajay also you are doing so many films when there are other actors who are of, you know, have the same category, the A-list category and all of that. Do you feel that has changed now? People are open to and not being really worried about the kind of space that you have.
But I think that is still happening.
It is happening?
Again, there are a few people who are comfortable with each other and working with each other, but there are a lot of people who do not want to work with other people. So
That hopefully will change. What about you, Saif?
You know, I agree with what Ajay is saying. I'm saying normally, I mean, what it is the economics of a film is driven by certain actors
Sure.
or a certain actor. And if you have a situation where both people are driving the economics absolutely equally, I can imagine there would be a situation where he'd say, listen, why is he saying that and why can't I say that?
Correct.
Otherwise, normally there's a fair amount of hierarchy in films. You know, there is a senior actor who is driving, who does have, you know, more responsibility, script-wise also, blah, blah, blah. Everyone is responsible, but you know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone, there is an order
Correct.
to things. And real equality, I don't know if it exists, but will create a little, I would imagine it would create some stress. It wouldn't to some people.
Yeah.
They'd be happy to share it and be okay, but some people would feel, why do I need to share this? I'm anyway, you know, driving the economics of a movie on my own. Why do I have to deal with this guy?
Fair enough. You were really invested in Lal Kaptan and, you know, it was a different experience for you. Today, as you say, you're more mature. You know how to deal with things. When you put in so much in a character and you believe in it, and it does not reflect in the box office, are you able to detach yourself from the failure of it and say, you know, I got experience out of it?
I don't know if detach is the right word. I mean, it hurts and you feel that, okay, what is this? And you analyze it slightly and you say, maybe it's the wrong kind of movie, maybe it's this, and you look at things. But there's always, I think, if you've worked hard and you've done decently well at something, you've gained something, you know, like, look at it this way, even if it didn't work, I feel that stuff was a rehearsal for Tanhaji in so many ways. I mean, there were swords and there were horses and there were costume and there was drama. So coming out, and I'd never done that before, so coming out of that, coming into this, I said, okay, I'm comfortable, I know how to, you know, your first historical will always be a little awe-inspiring, you know, like I don't
see,
even know.
experience always matters. Whatever you do works or doesn't work, it helps in future because you've learned something out of it. Maybe from good, bad mistakes, other people's mistakes, you only learn. It's always, if you take it that way, you're fine. And it's difficult to take it that way because at that point of time, you, like Saif is saying, that you're completely attached. But then you have to eventually let go.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do.
When we're trying to make a historical drama, and which I think Panipat also faced. You'll put in so much, and there's a lot of investment being made, trying to make it large scale, trying to get facts right. But there's some community or the other who's always a little hurt on how they felt the facts have been misrepresented. Which happened in your case in Tanhaji as well. A certain group of people, I felt like, maybe this person does not belong to the Maratha community. And when you're making a film like this, you obviously know that in our country sentiments
You expect all this.
You expect all this.
Because in this country, you expect all this. And so we were prepared for it. As long as we thought we got everything right, we met the Malusare family, and whatever is written in history, we're obviously going to follow that. And where they come from and things like this, and what the family is saying, the lineage. I mean, they were on set twice.
Yeah.
So after that, I know a lot of people, and my question is that he was somebody who sacrificed so much for the country, his life. We are trying to show that. We are trying to show that an Indian sacrificing for India. Now, what caste he comes from, does that really matter? People need to realize this.
Absolutely.
So they have to see at the larger picture. We are not belittling any caste, or we are not even trying to underline that from where he came.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that in the film. We are talking about what he did.
How do you look at it? At the furor that comes out every time there's a historical drama, and there are people saying that, we know this better.
I think your intention is important, obviously, and it's easy to offend people, or it's easy for people to use you, definitely. And it seems that so many people just wait for a film like this to come out before attaching themselves to one side of some argument in order to gain some mileage. You wouldn't have heard of half these guys if it wasn't for films, So it's political. The country is very political, and they use things.
Yeah, and also you need to realize that we have to live with it, because every 90 kilometers or 95 kilometers, our dialect changes in our country. So our culture keeps variating. Our gods keep changing, in the sense, same god but murti alag ho jati hai, shakal alag ho jati hai. So they believe in the same thing.
Yeah.
But it keeps changing. So you have to keep everybody happy, and you can never keep everybody happy.
Creativity can be curbed if you start looking into everybody's sentiments, right? Like, for example, Panipat had to cut out 11 minutes when it was released.
It can be curbed. While scripting, we've curbed so much, because we thought this will get controversial in that way. So we've tried our best, knowing that after doing all this, also something will get controversial, because everything is not written down in history. Everybody has imagined their own history. Because there's like 1 page or 2 pages, and you have to make 2 hours out of it. So you have to imagine a lot of things also, but you stick to the right line.
Yeah.
So people will get offended, and you have to fight it. You can't do anything about it.
You feel the same way? You think, but because this sort of does curb creativity a little bit, if you have to be so careful in doing things.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. Now, on one hand, I think you're benefiting by getting a hero that people know about, and there is a strong feeling, like my Taimur's nanny is Maharashtrian, and she got very excited. She was Tanhaji, what a big hero he was. So there's a certain responsibility also so there's an advantage to telling that story.
Yeah.
And then there's a limit also to things you can do. So that's, I guess, the burden. I mean, otherwise you make Bahubali and just make it all up,
You mentioned Taimur. I must say, the way the whole birthday and you interacted with them and all of that.
I think we are pretty much the same.
Yeah?
I'm sure if he's eating a cake and the media standing outside, you
give it.
share it.
Yeah, of course. No, but I'm saying that he's more like he'll smile and go away. Paparazzi around his house is way more because of Taimur.
They're not around the house. They've thankfully moved. Taimur gets photographed. He doesn't really like it. I think he's like us also. He doesn't like being photographed much. By the way, he just happens to be photographed a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't enjoy it.
Why would a kid enjoy it?
Why would a kid enjoy it?
Of course
Flashes
not.
and this kind of stuff.
But you found a middle ground, right?
It's become part of our lives, that some places. But outside the house when they were parked, it was becoming a bit of a nuisance to the people that we live with, other neighbors, this, that. And, they very kindly agreed that they won't be outside the house because it was becoming a bit much. So they don't. But in public places, still, I wish they would go easy on the kid. But this is one of these things.
would want to keep kids having, you know, their own private lives, and I'm sure you responded to
I
the fact.
wanted, the kids want it. I think the people, they're clicked everywhere, and then there are some rubbish comments which come. It harms children. I mean, what have they done wrong? Yeah, they just
And some kid, you make
9,
him feel
10,
special.
12, 15 years or
He's got
15-year-old
school
kids,
friends.
you start judging them.
And school friends, you know, like,
Yeah.
why do you want kids to feel like they're like everyone else, not special for no reason?
I mean, you judge us, we are in this line, it's fair enough. I mean, we can't say anything about that. Leave the kids alone.
With Nasa, I see sometimes you know, the kind of trolling that happens because someone's wearing something or someone's doing, which happens to a lot of women anyway. But to children also, I think that's a really sad thing because they want to believe that we live in a country it's progressive and it's all okay.
They really don't know what's going on. I'll give you an example. I never spoke about this. When I lost my father, second day, the kids were very upset. Nissa was crying all day. And, you know, people were home and a lot of people. And you know how the atmosphere is at home.
Of course.
And I called her. I said, stop being upset because you have to. They're kids. I said, why don't you go out, have something and come, eat something and come or things like this. She says, I don't want to go. And I told her, you please go. There'll be a change of mood. We are here. I mean, we are handling people. We are doing everything. You just go out for half an hour. She didn't know where to go. She left and she went to a parlor. Okay. I said, go get a hair wash or something. Okay. They have clicked pictures of her entering a parlor and they have trolled her. Grandfather's just died and she's in the parlor. What right do they have? I am sending her so that she feels better. She's going through a trauma. What right do they have to say that?
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. And then she's come back howling again.
You see,
By the time she got back home, the pictures were out all over the net.
Because I've seen, you know,
but
and
this can really damage, you know.
It is,
It damages.
of course.
It
This is
damages.
why after a point, I'm not even
On social
interacting. Yeah. Because
that is why, because
it's
you'd
very
obviously,
distinct.
like, I know how he is, we discussed about it. Like, it's like you are a father and you want to feel protective about it. But who do you go and sort of blast about it, right? Like,
Nobody, because they have no
faces.
face.
But one film of his that you really think you like and why? Vice versa.
I have loved him in Omkara.
Yeah.
I think Omkara was fab. I mean, not that other films weren't. Lots were good, lots were bad also. Same goes to me. But Omkara, suddenly something changed in him, I think.
What about you?
I really liked Ajay and Ganga Jal.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Absolutely.
mean, there's so many movies. Even some of the funny stuff.
Yeah, he's done good.
Indur Kumar movies.
Yeah.
But I really like Ganga Jal.
You know, and while we're talking about, you mentioned Ganga Jal, and I must say that it's very interesting how Rohit's made this entire police Marvel universe sort of zone. It's very fascinating for me. I hope one day that character also joins in because I think everybody is going to be really intimidated by his Ganga Jal character.
Yeah.
Among all of them, because he's like, he looks at you and you're
There
like,
can't be a Singham and a Ganga Jal, no?
I know.
Yeah.
That's true. But I'm saying that's a fascinating world, right? Because you get, you know, you're building these characters and then you make a franchise and then you get them together.
We're planning to do that.
Tell me a little about it.
No, it's too early. I mean,
Too
there's
early?
nothing. I mean, this is the idea. It would
Yeah.
be like this.
Gosh, that sounds like a
Avengers.
big ass movie.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of 100 crores, more than
Yeah,
that, crores riding on it. But it's going to be interesting. But you've also, like, I know you mentioned about this, that you want to make more movies on
You never know,
Bollywood.
Chulbul Pandey can get part of it.
Yeah.
Become a part of it.
It'll be very interesting. You know, you also said you're going to want to make a lot of films. You're making a franchise of the 4 your films as well. That's something that you had mentioned earlier.
Making this one as a franchise.
Yeah, and then you
Unsung
have a
Warriors.
couple that you're also planning, right?
On the Unsung Warriors, we're working on a few things. Too early. I mean, obviously everything depends on how the film does.
Yeah.
But yeah, on scripting level, there are a lot of.
Of Jawani, and I thought it was so interesting. Puts you back into the little bit of the cocktail zone, isn't it? It puts you in that.
I guess I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it
a little more
puts you in
fun
that-
and a little more kind of a.
Yeah.
It's a nice little story. I'm happy we did it, and I'm quite happy with it. We got very lucky. The girl is very nice, and yeah, no. So I don't know if I should talk about it too much right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, get lucky, no, with new casting.
Yeah, of
and,
course.
And young people, new people bring so much energy into a movie. So I'm very pleased about that. That we got very lucky.
You have one with Ranbir Kapoor, apparently, which is happening. And then you have Gangubai with Alia. So it's really fascinating for me that you're choosing subjects where, again, like you said, where you're not caring about, am I the central character, who's the central character, and looking at just the scripts. So what sort of made you choose them? A little bit on how you chose them as well.
No, I think the film with Ranbir is a central character. That's a fabulous script. Sanjay's film, Bansali's film, he wanted me to do this, I would say, cameo or extended cameo, which we are still talking about. So let's see.
Okay, I like how he's like, I can't talk much. We're still talking about it. Fair enough.
Yeah, because nothing is
Set.
finalized as yet. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Are you doing Beju at all, or were you offered at all?
No, not offered. I don't know where that's
Where that started.
Yeah.
You have like a whole list of films that's really exciting. I look at the films that are coming up and I'm like, from Tandav to Chifani to, you have like a big mixed bag.
It's an interesting time for actors where people are offering just interesting stuff. So you are lucky, you just choose, something that you connect to instinctively and something that will be fun to do. And, the idea is to try and lead a balanced life and a creative job. So you go there and you do something that you're excited about, interested in.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the makers who are coming up with crazy ideas. Like, Om coming up with Tanhaji, Ajay coming up with Tanhaji saying, do you want to play Devgn? He's this guy. And it's a fantastic part. So there's an exciting work. So it's fairly simple to choose. And what you choose depends on how you're programmed. Yeah? We're all, slightly different how we want to spend our time.
He said, Ajay is a very giving actor.
I'm giving nothing.
Funny expression. Yeah, yes. What?
He says he's giving nothing.
Yes.
But I
No, but I know what you mean. Yes,
Yeah.
you mean generous
yeah, of course.
and calm and not.
And I'm sure when you have these,
There's some actors
Face-offs.
who won't let their mother speak a line, I think. No. But there's some people who get really like, okay, it has to be
Intimidate
me
you.
all the time.
face-off scenes.
Yeah.
This really helps when the actors like this, because you both only want the other person to be better, because then you look better also. There's a scene like this where you both had that face-off.
Yeah, we've had a few
And-
face-offs in the movie.
And
Yeah,
It
off
was
the shot,
great.
it didn't feel like a face.
No, we're sitting there chatting, we get up and say, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, no, I'm going to kill you. And then we went back to saying, so what happened? Where were you? No, just,
okay, did that turn out like that?
It did. It was like this, exactly.
we can laugh because the scene is good, I think.
Yeah. So you feel satisfied at the end of it.
Maybe good actors, so we don't need to.
Love it. I love this confidence. You're good actors.
You always hope that you cover cost. And see, the basic bottom line is you just hope that the film works and people like the film. And this always follows. It's always your. The bottom line is that you are working so that people appreciate your work and like your film.
Yeah.
Okay, if that happens, then the rest, what you're talking about, will follow. So the most important thing is that.
We also presumably choose a subject like Tanhaji, hoping that it will resonate a lot with everybody. It's not like, some slightly niche story that you're doing for creative satisfaction or some odd reason. You're doing it basically also to entertain the country.
The film also is patriotic, right? Like, he is somebody who sacrificed so much for your country. And, in recent past, they talk about how people have added a little bit more nationalism to just make that popular. But did that ever come to your mind?
What?
About it becoming the thin line between jingoism and nationalism? Did that ever come to your mind?
No, because we never thought of that. I mean, we were trying to be honest to Tanhaji and we were being honest to the script.
Yeah.
So we never thought that we need to add a lot of patriotism. It was inherited.
Yeah.
And it's a true story. So, I mean, obviously, there's beginning, middle, and end. In between, you have to weave things. But yeah, we tried to be as honest as possible.
In that area, there will be a lot of exaggeration. There'll be some films that are more manipulative and some that are more honest. But a film like Tanhaji doesn't really need to be very manipulative because on paper it's there's a guy who's really honest, hardworking son of the soil, whose child is getting married, and there's this invasion and the fort is under threat, much like any regime that is oppressing the people, and he's fighting actually for his home and his family, and he gets up there and fights against impossible odds. So he's a hero. I mean, he's in the same school as Rocky or any of these guys who
Yeah, so what he's saying also is whatever's there in history for Tanhaji, I mean, you don't need to add anything else.
Passion project for you for years. And you know, you've been
There's nothing of that sort. This was a passion project. I mean, Om came with the script idea, and then we started working at it. So I think it's made out to be because people are connecting 100. When I started this film, I didn't even know this was my 100th film.
really.
Yeah. So once you start a film, it becomes your passion. Then, it wasn't there before.
Correct.
So when we started working it.
But a lot of, you know, the leading guys of our times, when they come out with their production
Correct.
of a certain idea, it looks like a dream project because, you know, he's the perfect cast for it. And it's like, this is what you expect somebody at this stage of their career to produce for themselves and the country. So in that sense, I think, you know, whether he characteristically says not, but the marketing people would definitely say this looks like a dream project.
I mean, honesty is rare. I get that from the two of you always. So thank you once again. All the very best. We're looking forward.
Thank you.
Watch E-Town News Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. only on Zoom.